to be pouring concrete. We're gonna be using the Dingo to tear soil out of the basement and lower the floor. We're gonna try to dig out all the dirt back in this dark, creepy corner. And if all goes well, we're gonna try to take these two big piles of rock and bring them down into the basement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 100% restoration and remodel of my great-great-grandfather's $7,000 mansion. First things first, as you can tell, things are looking a little bit muddy on the skid loader, and they're looking real muddy over there. And the ramp going down to the basement is not looking much more promising. We got an inch of rain last night, and it has turned this work area into a soup hole. We cannot drive through here without picking up basically half a skid loader bucket, it seems like, on the tracks of the skid loader. Look at that, that is disgusting. But the problem with this is, if we were working in the mud, I wouldn't care. But we want to address those big rock piles later. And if we drive through the rock, when we have all that mud stuck to the skid loader tracks, we're just gonna end up bringing all that rock into the yard, and then we are going to bring all the dirt from the yard into the rock, and I don't wanna do that. So we're gonna have to wait for things to dry up a little bit. And speaking of drying up a little bit, when I got here this morning, Justin and Roman discovered we had a lake down here. So they already took the sump pump in there and they sucked it out, and Roman's brought a little bit of filled dirt back in there to fill in the puddle. But the rest of the ramp that gets us up out of the basement is soft, and we don't want to get things stuck on it. So I'm gonna hop in the skid loader here, and I'm gonna start bringing some of the dirt that we had downstairs, and I'm gonna lay this down and see if we can maybe get this a little bit more dry on the top. And then hopefully this sun will stay out, so while we're working down in the basement on a few things we need to finish up, this will start to dry up. And then later, when we start bringing rock in and out, hopefully we won't have the mud issue. And I guess while I'm doing that, I'm not fully sure what Roman's gonna do. He'll probably fill you in on that, but Justin is going to be working on pouring this last little bit of concrete right here. Yesterday, we poured this bottom chunk of concrete, and then we got up to here, and then we got rained out, so we were not able to finish. So Justin's gonna be able to get that last little bit poured right now, and then once that gets done, then we will be able to tear all these forms out, and we'll be able to start digging back there later, but we have to get that concrete stuff done first. So today is gonna be a lot of, we gotta get this done first, and then wait a little bit for things to set up before we can do the next thing. But it's all bringing us one step closer to getting done with this entire project. There we have it. We have the last little part of the foundation wall poured with concrete. If we look in from our pour hole on the outside, we literally had just enough concrete. That is right to the top where we need to be. So this concrete is now done. I guess I didn't do a very good job filling in that bottom area, so I'm gonna bring in some more dirt right now. I'm in the skid loader. We'll fix that spot up, and then hopefully this won't happen again.
The next area that we're gonna tackle is this last piece of the dirt we need to dig out. I'll start with the Dingo and then finish with shovel, and then it's gonna be basically shovel from here on. Just clean all these little rough spots. Justin and I are trying to do something impossible, which is foresee every single step down the road. And right now we're talking about how we're gonna run the sewer that's gonna come from the second story. We're thinking it's gonna drop somewhere here. down into the floor, and that's where we have that conduit for. But right now we have this footer that where the post was at some point, and we're afraid that if we leave it, we might have problems down the road. So I think right now we're gonna try to spend time and take it up, so down the road we don't have to do that. Justin is going to bring the first load of rock, but before then we better clean up the bucket so it's not mixed with dirt. Have you noticed how Justin's bucket was catching on the side of the walls when he was trying to dump it? That's because our opening is the right size for the bucket, but the parts that are sticking out, that's what's catching. So I'm just gonna chisel them off real quick. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier on us.
So now that we got some of our rock down into the basement, we are going to be taking this, and the first room we are going to do is this back one.
Here we have it. Nice, flat, even, level gravel pad, ready for the next step, which will be compaction of this. We'll go with plate compactor to pack all this down. Today was a success. We were not sure if we were going to be able to accomplish this today in order for us to return the mini skid loader, but we got it done. Now all we have to do is just prepare for the return, wash it, make sure everything is operating fine. Well, we're here at Dingo's home, and his brothers and sisters are mourning for him and happy to see him again. No more Dingo. You'll be greatly missed.
With Roman getting the Dingo ready and bringing it back, we've had enough time for our concrete to set up, so let's take a look. Take a look at that! This was the part that we just got done pouring, and it is all set up nice. We had good connection here. Now, what happened the other day, we started pouring this, and then it started to rain, so we had to stop right here. We did take some 20-inch rebar dowels, and we put them all the way down into here. Well, they stick about 20 inches down inside of this, so everything is nice and tied together. In a best case scenario, they just would have poured the whole foundation wall like they did over here 100 years ago when they built the house. But this is second best case scenario, because before it used to look like this, where we had the soil underneath and then they just had the little bit of concrete on top. You can see the concrete line right there. So there really wasn't any foundation wall support, but now we have a footer underneath. We poured in that piece. We have a lot more digging that we need to do in here to get this dug out, because what we did right here, we want to do over on this wall. And once we get that done, then we need to do it on that wall. Once we get that done, then we got to dig all the way back around this corner. And we also have to do it over there. But all in all, looking at this pour, now we're not perfect, so our old foundation wall does stick out a little bit, but we got rid of all the air gaps, so the vibrator worked good to seal everything up. And then you can see our splice line right here. But it looks like we had a good connection on everything, and all through here, I'm really happy to see this. Our hole that we were pouring the concrete in was right here, and this spot on the right was a little bit higher, so we stuck the vibrator down and below, and then Roman was in here with a hammer tapping on it, and we were able to get everything to flow, and we completely sealed our gap. I was hoping that we would not have a little baby gap right here where concrete did not get into, so this is really nice to see. This looks good, so we're now ready to continue on over there. Digging the soil out of the corner is going to be a two-guy job, because only one guy can be in there digging and the other one's moving the wheelbarrow back and forth to actually get the dirt out of there. So Justin and Roman are going to get started on that, and I am going to be doing some planning that has to do with the rock that we just got done laying down. We put rock in the basement for 3 reasons: concrete, water, and radon. When we originally came in and tore out our concrete and then dug down our soil grade, some spots got dug deeper than others. Like this back corner got dug down about 10 inches, and then some spots up through here got dug down 4. So this is our basement floor. This is a 10-inch spot, and this is a 4-inch spot. Since rock is a lot cheaper than concrete, we simply just came in with the rock, and then we leveled everything out like this. So that way we're filling the nice big voids with rock, and then we have a nice smooth flat surface that we can pour our concrete on top of. So this is gonna save us a lot of money. So our initial reason for laying down the rock was for concrete, but we also have a couple other added benefits. Here's the beautiful thing about this rock. No matter how much we squeeze this together, what is between all the rocks? Little spaces of air. Now what can go inside those little air spaces? Gas and water. This is a prime example. Watch what happens when I dump this water on the rock. It just disappears inside of the rock. It drains away. Now we'll do the same thing on the soil that would be underneath of the rock. See how it just kind of puddles up? So in order for us to capitalize on the rock's ability to drain water, we are going to dig some of the rock back that we have along our footers, and then we'll dig down into the soil and we'll make these little pockets. So in those pockets, we will end up putting a drain. So we're gonna have one that goes all the way around the entire perimeter of the house. And what these drains are going to allow us to do is lower our water table. So let's say our water table is this high. All of this water out here, it's trying to get in through any little crack and crevice through the wall, and then it's also going to be pushing from the bottom side of the floor, looking for any crack or anywhere that it can get in, and it will slowly seep into the basement. It will make a really damp environment. We don't want that. But remember, we have all sorts of rock all through here in this drains. So if we have our drain lines lower than this rock, any of this water that is higher than the drains will simply just get pulled down, and it will get pulled into the drain, and the drain will take it away. So our new water level will be all the way down here. And then we will not have to worry about any of this water getting through a sidewall, and we will also not have to worry about the water getting through the bottom of the floor, because it'll be well below the grade of the floor. And this rock is going to do a major job in taking all that water away to the drains. So this one is going to deal with the water, and then we're actually gonna have another one laying right beside it, and that is for our radon gas. Radon is found in every single house in the entire world. It is number 86 on the periodic table. It is found inside of soil from uranium breaking down and releasing this sort of radioactive, colorless, odorless gas. And it is actually the number 2 cause of lung cancer in the world, behind smoking. So if you don't smoke, it is the number 1 cause of lung cancer, and it's primarily found in basements. Let me rephrase that. Concentrations that are higher than what is safe for humans to be around are typically found inside of basements. At this very second, this soil is releasing radon gas into the atmosphere, but since we're outside, as soon as it hits the open air, it disperses enough, it is completely harmless. But in a basement, when that radon gas gets trapped underneath of the floor, and it doesn't get out, the levels start to elevate, and then it builds up inside of the basement, and then we can have levels that are not safe for humans to be around for extended periods of time. Hence, where a radon mitigation system comes into play. So our first pipe is going to be the drain for the water. So all the water that gets underneath the rock will filter all the water through, and then water will leave through the drain pipe. Now our second pipe, that instead of draining out to a lower spot where the water is going to run away, we are simply going to have another pipe that's going to come straight up out of it. It's going to run through the roof of the house. And just before it gets to the roof of the house, there's a fan up there. And that fan is going to make suction. So our line that is inside of here, it's going to have suction pulling air into it. All of the air that is between the rocks. So all the radon that gets trapped under the floor, it's going to have just a light amount of suction pulling it through all the gaps in the rocks to our other radon line, and then it's going to get expelled up into the atmosphere, and it'll be completely harmless once it's up in the open air, but that will prevent it from being trapped underneath of the floor. This just goes to show how important the little details like laying rock down in the basement underneath the concrete floor are. So with all that being said, well, Justin and Roman are going to be digging out the soil underneath of the stairs, which, by the way, that soil under the stairs had to have been letting a massive amount of radon into the house. While they're doing that, I'm going to be running around with the tape measure, and I'm going to be measuring the perimeter of our footers, so that way I know how much drainage line we are going to need and how much radon line we're going to need.
Unfortunately, Justin is not feeling well. Maybe he ate something wrong, but he had to leave, and obviously, there is not too much room for two people here anyway, so I'll be here by myself digging. Or like Justin said, digging my little heart out.
Okay, here we go. Take a look, because pretty soon it's never going to look like this again. Roman got everything dug down here in the bottom of the ramp, so in case we get some more rain, now we have a little bit of a catch basin again that we can use our sump pump for. We've had to do this a couple times, so leaving that little bit of foundation wall there like we did has been super helpful. Otherwise, all that water would have ended up inside of there. I got all of our measurements figured out, so now we know how much perimeter tile that we need to get for the interior drain of the house, and how much tile we also need to get for our radon mitigation system. After going around in all of the walls and adding up our perimeter, we are at 166 feet, so remember we're gonna need to double that, so we're gonna be looking at, I'm gonna get 400 feet. I take that back, we are gonna be buying 500 feet. I called our tile guy and I asked him if he had any extra that I could just buy from him. He was out, but he said they have small rolls that are 250 feet a piece. So in that case, we'll need 2 of those. So we're going to be getting 500 feet. And honestly, we're probably going to have to get more in the long run, because when we build the new part over here, that's going to get the same treatment. And I'm thinking about doing the same thing on the outside of the house in the future as well. So I should probably just pick up everything that I need while I'm going up to the store to do that. So let's get 1,000 feet. But otherwise, Justin and Roman, they made a good chunk of progress. Holy cow, door upstairs just slammed, and I'm the only one here, and that scared me. I don't hear footsteps, so I don't think anybody's up there. But I guess I have a shovel here and a big bar, so you guys may see something cool, or let's hope you don't see something cool. I don't think that would be cool, but anyway. Justin and Roman were digging this spot out right here. They got a lot done in there. It doesn't really look like it, but digging in there, that is some tough work. But it looks like they're about ready to be able to dig underneath of that little baby foundation wall that's currently there. And then we'll be able to use the dirt on the outside as the form, just like we did here. We'll also need to dig a footer down, and then we're gonna have to dig underneath of this at some point and around the corner. But we're probably gonna need to get that corner supported first with concrete, just like this. Otherwise, that is, well, not all we got done today, but there was a lot of stuff that just takes time, and sometimes that's just how it goes. So our main focuses now are to get the rest of this dug out, be able to get that poured. We have one more footer right here that we need to get poured. We are going to be doing something here with removing this wall and resupporting things and possibly things with these beams, but that's going to be a few projects down from now because we really want to get this perimeter drain done. We want to get the radon mitigation system done, and then we are actually going to be putting drains in the middle of these rooms, as well as where all of our septic lines from upstairs are going to be running down, so that way we can have all of our toilet plumbing and stuff running underneath of the floor before we pour concrete. So we are going to be in concrete pouring mode, and we are going to be in plumbing mode going forward here. And then once we get those things done, then we're doing the not as fun stuff first, which is everything down here, because once we get done with that, then we will be able to use the big equipment out here, and we will be able to start working on the new part. But otherwise, with that being said, Justin and Roman just went home. We're tired. We're going to call it a night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.